Greetings, family, friends, associates, acquaintances, everybody that looks and listens and pays attention. Hotep, God bless you. This is just hopefully it won't be too long. It's about my DNA test results. Yes, I've done the DNA test. I did it with more than one company, and I've done it more than one time. And other family members have also participated in these projects, and we have learned quite a bit. So I want to start off first by revealing my DNA test results, and you can guess and tell me how much you think I got of this, that, and the other. I'm not all white. I have some, and everybody, well, most of us went through that transatlantic slave trade. So my DNA test results, I did them with Ancestry.com, what I'm going to share with you now, and I'll share some of the reasons why it's a good idea for some people to participate, and those who don't want to have valid reasons for not, and I show enough respect and understand them. Ethnicity estimate: Cameroon, Congo, and Southern Bantu peoples. The results have changed. When I first did it, the results didn't come back like they are coming back now. The percentages have changed. The countries remain the same, but the percentages have quite a bit changed, actually. So now, Congo, Cameroon, and mainly it's Cameroon, the Cameroon area, which includes Congo and Southern Bantu peoples. 31% of my DNA goes to that group. England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, 19%. Benin, Togo. When you're in Ghana, if you go to the right going eastbound, the first country you hit is Togo. Lomé is the capital, it's right across the border. Then from Togo you hit Benin going east, then from Benin you hit Nigeria. From Nigeria, keep going east, you hit Cameroon. So Benin and Togo, 15%. Mali, 12%. One of the famous African kingdoms was based in Mali. Musa Mansour, I think he was Mali. They say the richest man that has ever lived on the face of the earth, that did that historic pilgrimage to Mecca. Mali, 12%. Ivory Coast, Ghana, 7%. Originally, most of my DNA, they had me listed on the African side as Ghana, 24%, Cameroon, 23%. But the percentages have changed as the technique, as the science, as the tools that they have become, I'm assuming, more and more refined. So now Ghana is down to, in Ivory Coast, 7%, Ireland and Scotland, 6%, Norway, 6%, Senegal, 2%, Wolof people. Nigeria, 1%, but I know from another test, I'm assuming it's correct, on my father's side, one of my grandmothers is an Igbo, come from Nigeria. Igbo or Igbo, I-G-B-O, not evil. Some people think I'm saying evil. I'm saying Igbo or Igbo, I-G-B-O. One of my grandmothers came out of that tribal group, from what we can tell from the DNA. So even though it only says 1%, I know one of them came from there. Germanic Europe, 1%. I kind of know about that. And so that's how mine breaks down. Another thing that you can find out about yourself in the more detail on this DNA testing, especially those who are of African American and have that bloodline and want to know more about that hidden past and where you really come from and trace it back. We can now trace it back to the continent through these DNA tests, and they can tell you the groups and the areas and the countries that you came from, that your ancestors originated in. Also, there's another website called GEDmatch, G-E-D-M-A-T-C-H, G-E-D-M-A-T-C-H.com. Once you get your results back, whether it's Ancestry.com, 23andMe, or any other group or organization that does your testing, you can download, if you're comfortable, you check it out and think it through for yourself, you can download your raw DNA into GEDmatch.com, which will refine it even and synthesize it even more and give you a clear depiction of where you came from. So, long story short, if you know how to use the tools on GEDmatch.com, you can tell what tribal groups run through your bloodline. So I know I have a lot of Hausa, a lot of Igbo, a lot of Bamoon from Cameroon, and I know I'm related to the Brong in Ghana, and I'm familiar with Ghana. They're broken down. Ghana is divided into regions, like America's divided into states. So in Ghana, it's the Greater Accra region, the Eastern region, the Western region, etc., etc. But one of the regions is the Brong Ahafo. Brong Ahafo. I thought it was one word or one group, but I found out through this DNA testing I'm related to the Brong, not the Ahafo. So the Brong is a particular group up around Suyani, north west of Kumasi, the Ashanti region and capital. So it's interesting to see, and I got a lot of bloodlines, and most of us do. We've had similar histories and experiences. Got Dogon, Dogon from Mali, who have some miraculous things in their past that you can go on YouTube and learn about the knowledge that these people possess, and they came down from ancient Egypt millennia ago. So I got Dogon, I got Mandinka, I've got 6% East African bloodline. Some of it is from Ethiopia, and it's just a whole mixture based on our unique experiences and through that slavery thing. We got a lot of blood flowing through us, but it's good to be able to identify some of these groups and places. So that's my story. When I first did it, I was a little nervous, didn't know what was going to be revealed. I did it with a different company. They only trace through one line. They go all the way back through your mother's people to a particular place where that one person originated. Or they can go on the paternal line through your father's people to a particular place where that one person originated. That's a real small part of who you are. It is a part of who you are, and it does trace that one individual back. It doesn't give you a name, of course. It doesn't give you a time period. It just tells you that this bloodline leads back to this place, particular country. And it could have been 1,000 years, could have been 500, 400 years ago. But the one I did is called autosomal DNA testing with Ancestry.com. It's called autosomal, and it gives you a composite picture of your DNA makeup, not just one person, but a totality of what makes you who you are in terms of DNA based on a bigger picture of your ancestry. So when I first did it, when I first started thinking about this DNA, I thought the greatest thing could come out of it would be to connect with Africa, find out where my African ancestors came from, And that was a great thing. And I was very elated and happy and pleased beyond measure to find out that I had ancestors from Cameroon and Nigeria and Ghana and other places in West Africa particularly. It really enthused me, excited me. I'd already been to Africa before I did the testing, And so it was really wonderful to learn. But when you do these DNA tests, you don't know what's going to come out. You may have seen some things in the news recently if you pay attention to it or read or whatever. You may not have seen it, but you don't know what's going to come out. Anything can come out. If you got secrets, you better be careful because they can come out. A lot of people got secrets. And if you do, you have to think about these DNA testing because even if you don't do the test, somebody else might do the test and you may have a knock at your door, a letter in the box, or a phone call. A lot of people are having these experiences. I've talked to some. I've had some. So this DNA stuff has opened up a whole lot of stuff. But for me, I thought the greatest thing would be to find out about what my African connection was. And it was a great thing. But lo and behold, I was in Ghana in 2016. On Ancestry.com, they not only tell you a picture of where you came from, your ancestors, and what parts of the world, they also connect you up with cousins. Everybody who is taking the test through Ancestry or through whatever website you take yours through, everybody else who's also taking that test through that same website, they go into a database and they pop up as your relatives. Most of them you won't know because I got probably maybe 10,000 cousins from first and second all the way down to eighth cousins. And the probability that it's right, of course, is stronger the closer they're related to you. First, second, third, and fourth cousins especially. So I got a whole lot of cousins. But some popped up in that number one position. I had no idea who they were. Couldn't figure it out. How is this my first cousin? I don't know these, who is this? Where'd they come from? I have no idea. And one I still don't know, but I have a good idea now based on the other one. So one contacted me when I was in Ghana in 2016. Long story short, I won't go into all the details right now. My mother at the time was 91 years old. Always thought that one man by one name was her father, who never claimed her, who she never had a relationship with. She may have spoken 10 words to him in her lifetime. He'd been dead forever. I don't know when he died, and she probably doesn't either, because they never had a relationship. She always thought he didn't claim her, and it was just one of those kind of situations. And she was born in I won't say, she was born a long time ago, She always thought he was her father. Man didn't claim her. She didn't really do no investigation, Her mother died when she was 2 or 3 months old, so she couldn't get no information from her mother. Grandmother assumed that this man was her father too. I'm assuming, I guess that's who her mother named for whatever reason. Through the DNA information and the cousins that popped up. A cousin contacted me. We developed a dialogue of communication over the internet, email. And within a day or two, I figured out that the man she's talking about, that's her grandfather, is my grandfather, my mother's father. She kind of knew it ahead of time. She kind of realized before I did. She didn't want to upset me, she said, you know. So after all these years, now we got a name for my mother, her last name, her father's name. We got pictures. We got places. And lo and behold, I never thought I looked like anybody, my mother or my father. I guess other people may see some resemblance, and I'm sure there is, in, you know, body build and thinking and all kind of stuff, including in the physical. But I just didn't think I looked too much like my mother or my father. My mother's real father had a half-brother. Now listen to this, y'all. Half-brother. They had the same mother, different fathers. I'm a spitting image up. I've seen this. Well, I think I am anyway. In case one of my cousins see this, maybe they don't think so. But my mother said the same as soon as she saw the picture. She had thought it was me. It's an old picture. Military something, way back in the day, in the 40s. I showed it to another friend in Africa, and she thought I was trying to trick her when I told her it wasn't me. That's how much this man looks like me. I look like him, rather. So, long story short, the DNA for black Americans, and it's good for everybody. I'm watching Henry Louis Gates all the time, and it's fascinating to me to see these big name white folks on there and to learn their past history and where their people came from. It's a human thing for real. You know, it's not limited to one group, although we have our own, you know, unique background and pain and suffering and stuff, you know, and cut off from everything. So it's really good for me to connect with that African past to see where it originated from. But I thought that's the greatest thing could come out of it, but not really. The greatest thing to come out of it for me on a personal level was finding out who my mother's father was and sharing that information with her and anybody else that wants to know about it, you know. But for me, you know, it's just now I know what my last name is through my mother's side, where they were from, and to learn something about these people that we didn't even know existed on planet Earth, let alone we was related and we're descendants of these people, my grandfather. So peace and blessings. That's what I have to say about it. A lot of people don't, you know, they don't too much with this DNA stuff. Some of them think it's a hoax. It ain't no hoax. No, because they could always tell you who the baby daddy was 50 years ago. They could take your blood, you know, and determine whether or not that was your child through the DNA. It's not nothing new, but it has advanced. The science has gotten deeper, and it's still advancing. And for those who are curious, don't but think about it now. You know, even see they've caught some serial killers through this DNA stuff. They didn't get that DNA. They got somebody else's DNA that was related to them. So even if you don't do it, you know, stuff can still come up. You know, stuff can still come up because it's out here now. So, you know, you live and you have faith and you pray and you believe, you know, and don't walk in fear, walk in faith. Okay, peace and blessings. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to start making a lot of videos, you know, maybe every day. Subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, buy one of my books at Amazon.com, Walter Ray. Come and clean a ticket. Well, no, that one's not there. It'll be there one day, though. Cape Coast, Coming Home Through the Door, No Return, The African Guide to Success in America, and Rolling with the Hot Sauce, Fictional Crime Syndicate. Okay, peace and blessings. Bye.